Running a little late, but just giving everyone time to get across. And my name is Mike Francis. I'm moderating this track today. But you don't see much of me because the speakers do all the work. So I'm pleased to introduce Dragos Daskalita. Apologies. From Adobe, and he's going to be talking to us about the OSGi world of REST. Okay? So without further ado, I'll hand over and then I'll handle any questions at the end.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this room. I hope to have the next 30 minutes to be interesting for you. So what I'm going to do today is basically share some of my experience that I had in the past. Like in the past, maybe 14 to 16 months, when I started to do a project not necessarily new in what I had to do, but this day everybody needs to have APIs. There's so many conferences about APIs. Last week in San Francisco, there was an API conference, API strategy. Next February, it's another API strategy. The next year, I guess in spring, there's another API conference, big one. Then in autumn, the same. So many API conferences probably you also been. So API looks to be, seems to be in vogue because that's how, how should I say? That's how systems interact. Is that accurate to say so? So before I go, I'd like to ask you how comfortable, how many of you are comfortable and or have been working with Carafe or Felix before? Right, cool. And how many of you are comfortable with OSGi? Ah, awesome. All right, cool. All right. Have you been developing SOAP services or web services with OSGi? That's cool. Okay. So please give me feedback. I think that what I'm showing today represents only. It's not a de facto way to write APIs. It's just something that I learned along the way. It works well in production. It's easy. It's simple. And that's why I'm sharing. Probably if I'm going to come next year and talk to you, probably it could be something else because we're developers, so we need to keep ourselves, in business. If we make perfect software, who would then pay us afterward, right? To keep maintaining it. So change is good. So as I was saying, about a year ago, I started to, I had to work on a project that was basically a bridge between multiple backend systems. SAP right now, something that had to do with customer care. So we need to make a nice and shiny API on top of these old APIs, like from SAP, from right now, Salesforce, and so on. So here I was, having to create a solution that would put these APIs. And I don't know if you guys do the same as I do, but I believe that life is too short to make the things in the same way over and over. So every time I start a project, I kind of try to look online and show for new alternatives. Okay, because I know how to do. I mean, it was not the first project when I did the web services, and I knew how that works. But I wanted to try something else because I wanted to see if there is probably a lightweight runtime that would help me. Previously, I was used with Apache 6F. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with 6F or Apache Camel or Service Mix. They're pretty much in the same area. They do a really good job with SOAP services, and they also support REST. But when you talk about SOAP, you talk about, when you start a SOAP container, it's pretty heavy because SOAP is not a simple protocol. Just to make a single call, you need to prepare a message and send that message, and if the message is not right, you know the story. Another thing that I wanted to do is whole deployment. That is just because in some organizations within my company, if you need to shut down a system, you need to give them announcements several weeks before that. They have to prepare. There's a release management group that has to approve that, and so forth and so forth. So I said, you know what? I just want to make hot deployments on the spot. And the modularization was here in the mix just because I wanted to try to reuse as much as possible from the things that we've written. So I started very simple. I said, let me see what is the simplest way to create a web service. So what I did, I took Apache Felix. Apache Felix comes with 4 bundles by default. The GoGo console and another 3 bundles. It starts in a few milliseconds, super fast. Don't have it right now to show you. But if you download the bare bone Apache Felix, it's super fast. I had to put Jetty because doing web services, soon enough I realized that if I don't have an HTTP connector, I need it. So I put it. And I started to create my first servlet, which I have registered it by path. Server registration by path. I thought I have a link right here. I'll show you as soon as we get into the code. If you've, I'm not sure if you registered a servlet in Felix, but you basically put some annotations. If you use those, you define a strict path, A/B/C. And then the response, if you want to keep things very, very light, you can write it by hand. So initially, my first service was returning JSON responses written manually. This was just to have a simple start and to prove that I can actually, have a simple runtime, very lightweight, that can return some JSON or XML. Actually, in the first time, it wasn't XML at all. In the phase two, I got to a point that I realized that if you want to have some nice services, you need some dynamic paths in the URL, and you also want to support JSON as well as XML. So, of course, I didn't think that I can write a framework myself. So I went and I shopped on the web. I found a few things. I found Spring Web Services. I found RESTlet, Jersey, and RESTeasy from JBoss, and of course, the great and mighty CXF, which is awesome if you do REST, if you do SOAP, sorry. So with Spring, I tried first of all Spring, and when I had to integrate Spring, I had to do I ended up at the end of the day to do some hacks with the class loader, with the way that Spring loads the class loaders. And if you load, Spring is awesome, but sometimes for some cases when you load Spring into an OSGi container or in Felix, it's something like this. It's like pretty heavy, and Spring comes with a lot of, has a long tail of dependencies. And I said, let me try something else. I looked at RESTlet, Jersey, and RESTeasy. CXF, I knew it. It was there on the table just in case I couldn't make it to work. So RESTlet is a nice application container. At that time when I looked, it didn't run in a servlet container, and I really wanted to run in a servlet container. And RESTlet didn't run. RESTeasy from JBoss sound interesting. They also offer pretty nice APIs, just that when I gave RESTeasy a try, it was also difficult. I basically didn't manage to integrate it into Apache Felix. So the last one was Jersey, and this is what I'm going to show you today. Jersey, I tried it, in one day. Now in a couple of hours, I was able to get running. There's some tweaks and tricks that I will be showing you today in the code. All right. Right now, I'm just going to show you my path. If you have questions, yes, you can ask me. You can stop me. Was there a question or? Okay, no. So right now, I'm just going to show you my paths, and then I'm going to jump into the code. Do you guys love code? Of course. No. Yeah, I imagine so. So in the phase 3, after I had my APIs exposed with Felix plus Jetty plus Jersey, while looking online just for some frameworks, I also found Apache Wink. Apache Wink is yet another project that has its own JAX-RS implementation. Are you familiar with JAX-RS? The standard there's a Java standard to write REST services. It's pretty cool. If you go on jersey.java.net, that's where you'll find it. Yeah, well, actually the specification, Jersey is just the implementation. The specification is different.
All the libraries that you show were compliant with this?
So Jersey does expose the classes, the OSGi exports, and has the imports. it is a bit tricky to integrate. What Jersey doesn't have, and I'm going to show you afterwards, Jersey is built with the mindset that when you start your application container, and all of your services exist at the moment when you start. In OSGi, you don't have this case. In OSGi, you turn off, remove a bundle, update, make changes, the server still runs. So this is the piece that I had to do. This is the piece that I had to do. It took me, a couple of days to get it done. At that moment, there was nothing online that worked, although there was a project. And that project, I actually took it last night because I wasn't, I'm on a different time zone. I'm 9 hours behind. So I couldn't sleep, so I took the code and I'll show you what I did with it. It's pretty simple. It's not that complicated. I mean, the code is there. You just need to be mindful of every time a new resource gets added, you need to reload the Jersey container or add that service into Jersey. Okay, we'll get to the code. So just giving you some brief details now. And as I said, that while I was looking to integrate Jersey, I also bumped into the Apache Wing project. Apache Wing project is an interesting project. They have their own implementation of JAX-RS, and the project is pretty young. I couldn't trust it to go in production with it, but maybe the project is really good. So if you might want to check it out, Apache Wing. When I looked at the Apache Wing, I saw a really cool API documentation framework. And I said, well, that's interesting. I would also like to have some way to document my API so that when not just QA, but also people that want to interact with the API, they can simply browse it. So I went online, and I think there are only, from what I know, I only found these two projects, Mardot and Swagger. I can actually even show you how it looks of Swagger. Can you see well behind, or is not that clear? Apologize. Let me try to zoom in a bit. Swagger, it's like a nice, it's a nice UI. It looks at runtime at your services that you have published, and then lists some documentation, basically. You can expand, and you can even try out the services. This is cool. They give you, Swagger is smart enough to go and inspect your classes and figure out what fields you have and what type they are. And if you want to make a call, I don't know, let me try to do something simple here. It also works in the browser, but I'm into an iframe right now, so something didn't work well. Oh, it actually worked. It took some time. There's no content, right? Cool, let me see. If I put less than 10, I think this is just a sample service that is provided by Swagger, and I think if you put less than 10, they will give you a fake pet. Something like that. Yes. So you can see the response body, and another cool feature that Swagger provides is that they have a code generator plugin system. So you can also host that somewhere, and you can generate code in about 6 languages. From what I recall, it's even ActionScript, Flash, C, Objective-C, JavaScript, Java. This is pretty cool. I mean, your API consumers could just get the code right there, which is, I find it cool. So these two guys is what I found, Mardot and Swagger. Mardot, I have it open here. It has a nice UI. I hope this one is more visible. I like the fact that you have here some sort of a tree architecture, tree like UI with your services. From what I noticed, you cannot make calls, and you don't have a capability to generate the code from it. So these are the two players that actually got my attention. And another reason that helped me, where is it? Nope, it's here. Another reason why I ended up with Swagger is because back then I was looking at some solutions for API gateways that protect your APIs, and I saw a solution from WSO2. If this name sounds new to you, they are just a Java-based API gateway solution. And they were also using Swagger. And last week at API strategy, I've seen a lot, like a couple or 3 sessions only on Swagger. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Someone even developed a plugin from 3Scale, the company. Developed a plugin for Swagger that will just listen for your request and generate the documentation on the fly. Found this pretty cool. Well, they use some conventions, like if it's a number, they assume that it's going to be an ID and things like that. Swagger can also be used in an offline model because actually Swagger is just a JSON specification of your APIs. It's pretty lightweight. Right, let's move forward. So in phase 4, I had my Felix, my Jetty, Jersey, and Swagger. So this was pretty much everything that I needed to get going. All right, let me show you the code now, and then we can draw some conclusions. If you're OSGi fans, that will be super easy to draw. In some communities, I find that some teams find it difficult to get on board with the modularization, and they believe that they will be spending too more time. And I thought that my audience is going to be similar, which is totally acceptable, And some of the lessons that I learned also, target this modularization. So now let me show you the code. To show the code, I want to go back. So remember I said that actually, so you are not familiar with JAX-RS at all, right? Or just a couple of you? Okay. All right. Let me start there and show you how you can write some APIs in Java with it. And then I'll also show you how I integrated this. And Swagger, unfortunately, I didn't manage to finalize. I wanted to rewrite something last night because I couldn't manage to go through my legal stuff at work to get the code from my work out. We'll do it somewhere in December or January. But I still committed something that goes to this level. And probably, I don't know, in the next days, I'll also commit Swagger another implementation, which is different. So let me show you how JAX-RS looks and how can you define APIs. And for that, allow me to go back to Swagger. Wondering if I can open a new tab. Oh, that's cool. No. Oh, maybe it will run. So I was showing you an, oops, where did you go? I was showing you like these pets, which is nothing more than a fake service that, searches, I don't know, gets the information about a pet, find pets by statuses, and by tags. This is basically just a playground service. And let me show you how one of these services look in the code, okay, with JAX-RS. Okay, let me, before I go here, just want to apologize. Please don't shoot the messenger. I'm using IntelliJ, yes. I've been used with it, for years. So please don't shoot the messenger. Let's just look at the code. I actually tried to download the Eclipse last night, and we have a mirror set up here, and the mirror downloaded the tar.gz file, which was corrupted, so I couldn't unzip it. Honestly, yeah, couldn't. Otherwise, I would have opened the Eclipse. Probably would.
We believe you. Yeah.
I can prove it afterwards, of course. Anyway, I would look bad to use because I don't know the shortcuts. All right, so let me close actually everything that is here, and let me show you that resource. All right. Let me also close everything that is here. Close all. Some examples. So remember that I mentioned about the pet, right? The pet that was there. So with JAX-RS, you have these nice annotations that you can put on your class.
Can you increase the font size, please?
Thank you. I will.
Is it possible?
Let me. That's good, Cash. I was actually afraid it wouldn't work, That's cool. So this is how you define a resource. There are multiple ways to do it. Like if you want to return it in JSON format, you just say, hey, this is my JSON resource. So if you end in pet, if you have a path that goes pet.json, I'm going to return your JSON. But if you have pet.xml, then I'm going to return your XML. What I like about JAX-RS is that I can work with my object here. I mean, my parameters right now, it's only a string, the pet ID, from the service. But actually, I can have my own classes here. And JAX-RS is smart enough to convert a JSON or a XML into my class. So I don't have to do it. I find this pretty simple and easy to get going. I mean, this is how I would imagine it. So all those solutions that I showed you, JAX, Jersey, of course, RESTeasy, RESTlet, they all support this. So the nice thing about it, if you keep to the standards, actually this is what I like about standards, if you stick to them, you can switch your implementation. I find this cool. Cool. So this code will run also in 6F as well. So the path thing, this is something that comes from javax.ws. You can feel free to go into again jersey.java.net. That would be a good starting point, and then you can read about the standard. That would be also very easy. Some of the annotations here, like get and path, this is something that JAX-RS provides, and the rest about the API operation, about the API errors, this is something that comes from Swagger, so that you can show to your developers, hey, when you get this error, it means that, like 404, of course, but not found. Right? Just a quick quiz. Do you guys know what a 401 is in HTTP? Just see if you're awake. 401? No? No? Maybe a bad request or something. Just a short quiz. Just joking. Just see if you're paying attention, actually. So if you annotate with post, if you annotate with put, right, all these things you can put on your methods. And this is just the surface. You can go, on the extension points, I didn't find something that I wish that was implemented and it's not supported. Actually, it's pretty cool. All right, can we go ahead and then show how Jersey integrates into? Okay, any question on the JAX-RS? Anything that you'd like to know? All right. Okay. Cool. It should be pretty simple. Okay. Now let me go to the implementation. So I was saying that in order to integrate, the thing in Felix and in Karaf is the fact that every time you deploy a new bundle, the service needs to be available. So I have my Felix container, which is running here. Just a quick time check. I have 6 more minutes left. 12 minutes left. Okay, I'll try to get done in 6 minutes and then take the rest for questions. Since you are coders and us excellent developers, I also posted this code. Nope, it's here, and you'll find this in my presentation. We have the JAX-RS example, the launchpad, which is just a custom Karaf instance. So now let me go back again to Jersey, all right? Because I told you that there's this little trick. So I found an implementation online last night, which is exactly what I'm showing you. You'll find more in the README here. Where does that come from, and why did I pick it? So all these classes that you see here are basically, some helper classes that will help you deploy. This is with red because something didn't get loaded here correctly in the IntelliJ, because I found some .class paths and .projects here and it didn't work that well. But I'm pretty sure that in Eclipse you guys have no problem. So you have some code here which is basically trying to listen to all the resources that are annotated with path and with provider. Provider in JAX-RS is like when you want to convert an object into another object, like if you want to have JSON support to, I don't know, a custom JSON format. I'm not sure if you heard of JSON collection or hypermedia APIs or things like that. You can put your own provider class and say, hey, when you convert my object, please use this provider. So this is provider and this is path. So whenever a bundle is deployed with this, the servlet will pick it up and will register into Jersey. Let me show you this in action. All right. Usually demos don't work well, but we'll see. So let me refresh. This is a local instance of Apache Carafe that comes with Jersey. And if you guys want, after this meeting, all you have to do is just to go here in GitHub, and if you need more information, I can actually provide you afterwards. What? I lost my connection? Okay. So where it says the Carafe Launchpad, it's a complete project that takes Apache Carafe, adds the Jersey feature in it. So this is the Launchpad. The Launchpad IT is the one with the integration tests, and the test support is just some helper classes that I needed for the integration test, and I'm going to show you right now. But let me go to the demo. All right. So this is my Felix console. I hope that this doesn't look too unfamiliar for you. It's just a nice console where it shows all my bundles. With Apache Carafe, I have about 138 to support Swagger and Jersey and everything that's needed. In Felix, I needed like 90 bundles, if that matters to you. It starts actually pretty fast. So I can show you right now. Hope I won't regret. All right, it's up. Okay, that's it. And then you can do a log tail. Oh, really? 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 What?
You probably don't want to read it.
These are the logs. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I won't show this. Won't show this. So here I have, well, I can actually delete my Swagger OSGi because it's not working. This bundle is not working, all right. I have, let me reload. Okay, I have my JAX-RS example. And my JAX-RS example, I can show you the class. It's really simple. It's the hello world type of class that probably will give you an easy start. It's a hello world resource. Let me make this bigger. Is this okay? All right, and AJ can do much, but it's right here. The path is on hello, and well, if I don't say anything, if I say something, it will give me the name. So something just as a playground for us. So now let me show you this in browser. I go here, I go to localhost. Let's say I have the hello path, and I can also debug remotely. All right, these two guys. When I call this service, it goes here. And I just use a default hello world to output. And if I go and I add another parameter, you see this is a dynamic parameter. It's put under these brackets, and you can have as many brackets as you want. Pretty cool. And now the to value is, of course, what I said it is, OSGi-con. And you can just keep on going with the services. If I go and stop the bundle in Carafe, all right, and I go now back into the browser and I refresh, it's 404. The resource doesn't exist. And now if I start it again, of course, looks like demo is going fine. Here we go. It got registered, so now it replies. All right, that's in really high level. You can play more with the code, and if the code doesn't compile, I wrote it last night between 12 and 3 a.m., which was good for my time zone, but I might have skipped something, some dependencies which are only on my local machine and are not on will not be on your machine. So if you find something that doesn't work, you can ping me, and I'll definitely help you out. Just before I close on this Launchpad, well, just want to show you how easy it is to write a test for what I did right now. And I'm going to go into the integration test. Karaf Launchpad, it's basically what I did here is I created a Jersey and Swagger 2.1 features. Karaf has this nice feature support where you can say, hey, these are all my bundles, and I want you to get my bundles from the Maven repository, so Karaf knows how to download those bundles from any public Maven repository. And you create your feature here, and it's a long feature, like to start Jersey, this is all the bundles that you need, right? And the work to do this is actually just go, you look in the POM, look at what Jersey depends, and you put this, manually. So this work has been done. You can reuse it. You can have a play with it. So this Launchpad, when it's going to build, you'll find inside the target folder. Can I show you here? Inside the target folder, you'll find either a tar file, either a zip file if you're on Windows, and if you unzip that and run Karaf, it runs Karaf as any other Karaf instance. And all the help in Karaf, it's everything goes in the same way. So the Launchpad, and now in the integration test, I had to test that what I'm showing you today, right now, is actually working. I mean, I wanted to test that I can deploy a new service, and that service gets picked up by Jersey and gets published. And with the help of PAX exam, I was able to do that. I have an echo JAX-RS resource. Let me make it bigger, which returns me, of course, an echo message. And I have my test, Jersey endpoint test, written here. All right, and first of all, I test that my testing Karaf instance runs on port 50,000. And I first of all test that by default I get a 404 on echo test. And then I register a new service, which is exactly that service that you know. If you've been working with OSGi, this should be pretty straightforward, I think. Why don't we see the whole thing? Okay, it's here. And then I just put some, I'm going very pessimistic, but I think you can put less. And then I'm going again on the echo test, and I'm expecting a hello world message, and so on. So I mean, what you can get from GitHub is this custom Karaf instance, this integration test, and also the support for the integration tests.
If you give me the URL, I'll send it on Twitter.
Cool. So the URL is actually, I posted it this morning in the OSGi World of REST. You have both the presentation. Yeah, all right. Right now, as I said, it only has this Jersey bridge and the custom Karaf instance just to get you started with the web services. And I'm going to commit Swagger in a few days.
Tomorrow?
I'll see. It's work in progress. I'm just trying something else.
Well, if you're 9 hours behind, you can do it tonight. And then
yeah. Just write me an email. How can I give you my email address? It was there. Yes. Cool. Yeah, you can write me on this email address. Yes, and if you have questions, if you want to start using this, I know a lot of teams that have started to use this. And they have really good success with it. So if you guys want, I'm pretty much available to support in the time that I have.
So, any questions, anyone?
Are you planning to integrate one of these hypermedia APIs like JSON plus collection or Hell or Siren or so into your demo?
I could do that. There's a media type JSON plus VD, VND plus collection, something like that. Yes. Okay. I can do that. It's pretty straightforward. And Jersey 2 comes with hypermedia support. So you have a nice API in Java, or you can put links, and those appear. But the standard is not stable. I mean, it is a standard there, but I think people use it differently. I mean, the standard says that you have to put the links in the header, but people put the links in the response body because it's easier to read. But, yeah.
Any more questions? Everyone's desperate for coffee by the sounds of it. So, thank you very much.
Guys, thank you. Thank you so much for your time.